Hello and welcome to the Red Alert 3 live cast. I am GBH Michael, joined here by none other than...
Sniper signing in on the map Infinity Isle.
And on the left of the map we have the, Cyan Allies player, Viper.
And his opponent spawning on the right side is the yellow Soviet player. It is Dimon.
So, both of these players they've managed to make it to the finals of the For the Win 39 tournament. So both of them must be doing very well today, must be on top form. But Dimon is a player that I'm sure a lot of you will be aware of. Viper, someone who maybe not so much. How much have you heard of Viper, Sniper?
A little bit here and there, and oh, the attack dog tried to go in for an engineer snipe on the Dimon side of the map, going for that oil derrick, but luckily that combat pistol on the engineer wound up saving him because the conscript put on just enough damage to enable that engineer to one-shot the attack dog. It already used his bark in a little skirmish with a war bear, but almost the hero dog of the game.
Yeah, once you've used the bark up, you can't just run up and try and kill an engineer. You need to have the bark ability or you'll just get sniped. You have to be very careful with that. Yes. So trying to go in with the quick bark, trying to get the rolls off someone, conscripts, but not quite getting them.
Yeah, conscripts, I kind of rank on conscripts quite a lot. They are... any kind of trades that Dimon can get against these peacekeepers will pretty much always be cost efficient for him, since conscripts only like 100 price tag, while the peacekeepers are 250 or 300 or so.
Peacekeepers are 200.
200, there we go. Yeah, so 2-to-1 favor for Dimon. So really, any kind of trades he can get against these PKs, hey, that's all the good more for him.
So he's not overcommitting on the conscripts at this point, just sending a few conscripts over to the oil derrick, trying to just tickle away at the oil derrick and get whatever damage he can get done. But at the same time, Viper has halted his infantry production and has gone for his airfield. So,
that airfield has been spotted by Dimon, and as such, 2 bullfrogs already out on the map. Viper's going to want to be careful.
Oh, Vindicator just got sniped.
Rip Vindicator. That guy just got deleted right out of the air.
That's not a good start for Viper. He's going to have to be very careful now. You can't be losing those early Vindicators. Especially bullfrogs like this.
It's 1,200 credits down the drain for a not even dead bullfrog. That's not a very good trade.
Horrible. It's horrible. And also his oil derrick's gone down now as well. He wasn't repairing it, so it wasn't even getting any of its health back at all. And at the same time, he's packed up his MCV and gone for it. I don't know what he's trying to do with these walls, to be honest. I was kind of thinking maybe he's going to try and go for some all-in with on the back of that.
Like that second wall structure, it looks like he's prepping to wall something in there, but he just packed up his only build radius in the area, so what's he going to do with that?
Yeah, I was thinking there was maybe some strange, very unlikely chance that he could go for something like another airfield 2 and an MCV cell. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen, so I'm really confused about what's really going on in his base at this time. But at the same time, Dimon's got his 3rd refinery up, also already getting his naval yard, so he's...
And drawing some attention back to Viper's base, Dimon has launched a couple of flak troopers out of bullfrogs and is going for that prospector harass alongside one terror drone going to lock down that Riptide ACV, make it completely unable to stop these 2 flak troopers that are currently shrekking this refinery.
Vindicators come in and do clean up the flak troopers, but at what cost? Lost one of the Vindicators. One of them just barely stays alive, but it looks like the aggression has, for now, at least slowed down. Dolphin is on the right side of the map, trying to get a little bit of harassment done on the water refinery of Dimon, but there is 2 Stingrays out, and they will easily be able to defend that. Terrordrone actually gets inside of the collector, inside the main base of Viper, but there is an airfield nearby, so that will instantly get repaired straight back up.
Yeah, so one thing I'd like to see from Viper is maybe throw down a boot camp and maybe go for some return harassment against Dimon, just as Dimon threw some infantry into his base. Maybe throw some javelin troopers or PKs if he has a cryo shot on standby. Go in for that naval insertion and try and get a quick snipe on a refinery or a collector if he can. I've seen a great many Soviet players, they did not quite respect the cryo shot and they got punished for it, and they got punished very, very hard.
I think it might be a little bit too early for Cryoshot. Yes, it's a little bit too early for Cryoshot, so it's not going to be coming out quite yet, but he has got his 3rd refinery up. He needs to get something done very quickly, because being behind a refinery for this long, it's not a good position to be in. Dimon already getting his airfield up, setting up for that twin frog composition, which is a very, very powerful composition to be in. A couple of Riptides are inside the main base of Demon here. I don't think they have anything inside them. No, they're both empty, so there's not going to be any ripped Jav harassment here. Just randomly sending a couple of units forward, so maybe they might get something done, but I don't expect anything major, really.
I mean, hey, just some free little scouts coming along. There's a little battle group from Dimon trying to slip around the north side of the map, but they decided to turn tail and completely turn around for a little bit of to chase down this dolphin that's trying to slip into this collector line on the naval expand. But jumps over the naval yard, tries to get just a little bit of damage off, but the Twin Blade is there to get that full cleanup.
So one thing Viper has done, he's actually been bombing the walls next to the refineries in Demon's main base, so he can get some Riptide harassment in on these collectors, but there are Twin Blades out, so these will be dealt with very soon.
Okay, so Bullfrogs are kind of parking it out in the main base. If Dimon just moved those just a little bit further over to the right side of that island, he could easily camp that airfield, and those Vindicators would not be able to go anywhere. As a matter of fact, the walls are open, so they could pull in and just park it right next to that airfield if they really wanted to.
At the same time, 2 Stingrays are in the main base of Viper, taking down an IFV very quickly, and now the refineries are vulnerable. Will they be taken down? At the same time, Orbital Drop goes down on the bottom refinery while Twin Blades focus down the refinery on the back of this. This seems like a very, very powerful attack, and I'm not really sure if Viper can do anything else.
I think that is. I think that's gonna be GG. Here comes the fire sale.
That's sold everything out. Demon takes game number 1.
GG. Well played. For a 6-minute and 38-second game, really, the eco for Dimon just got absolutely out of control in relevant terms. For only just over 6.5 minutes, Viper really needed that third ref to make the comeback that he needed to get in that game, and it just never really happened.
Yeah, you can see on the resources tab how much that third refinery has really played a part in this game. And it's not just that. If you're looking on all the tabs, and for every single different respect, Demon has been ahead throughout the entire match, right from the start. As soon as that first Vindicator went down, Viper was in some real trouble, and he just could not get back into the game. Tried to recover, tried to slow down and delay his third refinery, but by that point, as soon as he decided to move, Demon was already up to his third refinery, and it was already getting a decent army out. There's no way you can get back from that, and no chance against a player of Demon's caliber.
And especially with that efficiency ratio, a 2.44 in favor of Dimon and a 0.32 in favor of Viper. That is just not good at all. It all just started with losing that early game Vindicator, and from there it was just a spiral effect downward at completely out of Viper's control.
Game number 2?
Yeah, sure. Game number 2. Which brings us to the map Fire Island for game number 2. Spawning on the bottom left side as the orange Allies player. This is Viper.
And on the top right of the map, we have the yellow Soviet player. It is Demon. Currently up 1-0 in the series. So Demon starting with a 2 barrack start. So he's going to go very aggressive on the infantry at the start. Even goes for a very an early engineer. Now, an engineer on this map is a little bit risky versus allies, because it can get quick. If you send a quick early Vindicator across the map, it can catch it in time. You can pop down a battle bunker and jump inside, but it's pretty expensive to do that. You have to be careful. And actually, the dog comes in.
Attack dog.
Not quite.
Close. Very close.
So a huge stream of conscripts going across the map will look to try and get some early damage.
Oh, the Warbear. The center of the map. Dimon's going to get the engineer kill.
Goes in just to delay the inevitable, just to taunt Viper that little bit more.
I honestly had no idea that an engineer's medic tent could be attacked by a bear, and that a bear's claw could much less set a tent on fire.
A very logic for you there.
Don't you just love it? Gotta love also this horde of conscripts coming out from Dimon.
Oh,
and
what?
Viper has like no answer.
He's building flak troopers, so he must be expecting a Riptide transition. But flak troopers on their own can be easily kited by Riptides. I think he's kind of underestimating the power of Viper. To be honest, I think he's expecting him not to be able to micro very well in a strange way. Because really, if you want to do this, you have to have a Pterodon on the back of it to be able to stun the units. Otherwise, they're just going to get kited and you're never going to get any damage done.
Or he might be banking on what opening Viper took in game number 1, and that's just the first airfield opening. And he got, as you remember, in game number 1, he got that airfield before he got the seaport. So Riptides were delayed behind the Vindicators, and now that Vindicator opener, that tells Dimon exactly what he needs to know. It says, okay, I've got a few minutes, or I got a, like 30, 45 second window. I can just charge in here, do whatever kind of damage I want, and just go ham. All he has to do really is just flip those conscripts to Molotov cocktails, and those walls are coming down.
Yeah, this is not the best start for that. Oh, all the conscripts are clumped up in the truck. Damage! Wow, you can just see a huge clump of them dead on the ground.
Those peacekeepers were money. Mad money on that.
The Demon just vanished the chocolate now, but that was a huge pick-off from Viper. And you know what? That's actually forced the infantry back. It doesn't look so scary anymore.
Oh, absolutely. If those Riptide ACVs are able to get the snipes off on those flak troopers as they need to, then this infantry push is very easily just stalled right now. I think Dimon's best bet, and I think he's realized it now, is just to bonsai the airfield, see if he can get it. Well, I say that now. Maybe kind of getting a little indecisive, dancing back and forth, trying to see if he can take a Riptide down with him.
Yeah, he should have really focused on the airfield an awful lot quicker, but instead now he's lost a lot of his units and it's not very powerful anymore. That Peacekeeper's doing devastating damage, just picking up so many units.
Oh my goodness, that PK. That PK got some value right there.
At the same time, though, Viper's MCV is not moving, and Demon is up to 3 refineries. He's just about to get his tier 2 up, and probably behind this we'll be seeing an airfield. So the airfield from Viper has actually gone down, finally, from all the infantry. There's a very small contingency force of conscripts left, remaining, trying to do that tiny bit extra damage, and there are even 2 Riptides going across the map to try and get some harassment in. So there is actually even a dog scout inside Demon's base. So Viper knows that his MCV is in the water. He knows that he can get some Riptide harassment in. And, like, again, we're just seeing random stray flak troopers.
Oh, that flak trooper, that Riptide ACV went a little too close to the barracks, and a fresh flak trooper right out of the barracks got a hot switch to his mag mine, and one mag mine later, we saw about 60-70% of that Riptide's health just disappear. Very unfortunate there for Viper.
The refinery in Viper's main base is on critical health. Those conscripts are actually going to kill it. It's looking very close.
Oh my goodness, that's bad. Well, there are only 3. There are only 3. Can the stop micro do it? He didn't get them all.
You can't kill a star rank conscript with a single bomb. You need to get 2. The only way that he could have done it there is if he got some splash damage, but I think he's going to save it. I think he's just going to save it. Those final bombs will actually keep that refinery alive, just about barely.
Just barely be saved.
They'll do it.
Viper has moved out with his MCV, looking to take a 3rd refinery on that lower right expansion, which is very odd. Normally you see that spot being taken last on this map. Since the other 2 refs are in such close proximity, many players just prefer to get the double expand off. But Viper did lose his oil derrick a few minutes ago, so now Dimon is just running away with an advantage right now. Currently 4 ref, double oil derrick to 2 ref only.
Yeah, the advantage for allies on this map is when you can get up to the 4 refineries you can get. Because you can get 2 refineries just by plopping your MCV down in a certain position next to the 3rd and 4th refinery. And you can place them both down. And you can get a really nice position with turrets easily defending both sides of your base. And that's a very nice position for your MCV to be in as allies. But being right around the side next to the
flak troopers.
It's not very nice.
Oh, money cryo shot. There's not enough there to follow up. If one peacekeeper there would have been the money peacekeeper to have. A cryo shot caught 4 war bears or 4 flak troopers, a couple war bears, a bullfrog, and a hammer tank all at once, and there was only a single vindicator to follow up on the cryo.
The hammer tank thaws out at the last possible second and just stays alive, just adding insult to injury at this stage. So one of the refineries has gone down. Viper did actually take the corner refinery, and as it is doing some damage in the water to Demon's refinery, taking down one of the refineries, and now the super reactor is in a little bit of danger. Twinblade is coming out to try and counteract this, but at the same time, 2 hammer tanks in the main base of Viper, focusing down the walls, trying to get inside and kill this collector. Do manage to get it down, and now he only has 1 refinery remaining mining. He's in a little bit of trouble here. Is he going to be able to recover? What do you think?
I think that if this one little naval force goes down, I think that's done and dusted for Viper over here. I think that's his last hurrah, his last bastion of hope, really. Losing that eco setup in the main, that's going to be a devastating loss to take. I mean, sure, he has a seaport in the main, but hammer tanks, that's actually in range of just the main weapon on the hammer tank. So now hammer tanks can basically clean up everything over here.
The refinery at the bottom right is actually being bombarded by
low power.
He had to sell off his I think it was a power plant. He had to sell off something to get the peacekeeper to be able to kill off the flak troopers and the turret drone. So he barely managed to hold on to the refinery, but it was definitely worthwhile going low power for it.
Oh yes. In his main base, though, I think Viper would benefit from not repairing this airfield and possibly even selling it off, since A, he has no airfield, or he has no air units that currently use it. B, he's not building anything out of it. And I mean, with the forces that are attacking it right now, it's just whatever he tries to build, it's just going to get canceled outright. There's really no way whatever he builds is going to be able to get off the path.
To be honest, at this stage, I think Viper knows that he's not going to come back into this game. Dimon has a huge economy in comparison, and he's just not going to have it. He's not going to have any trouble taking out the rest of Viper's base. He's just taking his time, taking it easy, being careful, and just methodically taking the rest of it out.
I don't know, hero engineer, do you think?
I don't even think that'll be able to do the job. Maybe if he manages...
miracle working engineer that somehow, or maybe bring over the mothership from Kane's Wrath, have a little catalyst reaction.
Maybe if he can manage to drop all of the twin blades and get a spy in and somehow bribe them all. I think he can bribe twin blades when they're on the ground. That might be something to test.
Oh yeah.
But maybe if he can do that, he might be able
somehow
to take
tricks
the
the twin blade into trying to pick up a spy with all 6 of them. Oh man, another hydrofoil goes down. That's all of the AA coverage out on the water. So now these dolphins, it's just a matter of time. They're all going to get hunted down by these twin blades. That's Red Alert 3 logic, reverse moving twin blades.
It's not as good as reverse moving dolphins though. But anyway, Dimon takes game number 2 and takes a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, GG to Dimon. Well played, and nice calls on that one. And most players in Dimon's position, they would just kind of go completely all chips on the table and just go ham and try and finish the game as quickly as possible, which is kind of reckless, it's kind of risky, because that could expose yourself to some unnecessary risks and open up weaknesses that wouldn't have otherwise been there. But that was a good call on Dimon, taking it a little bit slower and just making sure all of his bases were covered.
Yeah, Viper was just a little bit slow to the punch. To be honest, with a bit of a bad build order from the start, going for that early airfield when you can make an early airfield work when you see a 2 barracks start from the Soviet player, but you have to be good with your split bomb micro, and unfortunately, Viper just wasn't quite fast enough with the split bombs, and losing that early Vindicator as well, only killing 1 flak trooper for the cost of that, it just did not work out for him. He needed some Riptides if he wanted to survive, and he got them too late, and unfortunately that did mean that he lost an airfield, and it brought his refinery down to a very, very low health as well. It was an easy pick off after that, and he just could not get back into the game. A little bit late on the refinery, a little bit late on everything else, and Dimon was just on point. A little bit faster, and that was just too much for him to get the lead he needed.
I think this game is a textbook example of why scouting is so important. Because had that attack dog or those attack dogs come in and scouted maybe just 15-20 seconds later, he would have been able to see the massing of the conscripts and maybe even caught a glimpse of the flak troopers as they were on their way out, instead of him only seeing it when that Vindicator first flew over and got shot down. Which, losing that first Vindicator to those flak troopers, that was not very good. I think had the reaction time had it been a little bit better, the Vindicator could have been pulled back to base in time, albeit with a lot of damage, but it still would have survived just that little bit longer.
Yes, so that's game number 2. Let's jump right into game number 3. Which brings us to game number 3 on Battle Base Beta. And on the left of the map we have the orange allies player. It is Viper.
And his opponent spawning as the yellow Soviet player. This is Dimon.
Yes, so Dimon starting with a 2 barracks start, because on the middle of this map, I'm sure you're all aware, 2 big garrisons, which is generally the central point for a huge army clash right from the start of the game. Generally, there's going to be a huge swell of infantry from both sides. There's going to be lots of peacekeepers, lots of conscripts, and that's exactly what both sides are doing. Both going for 2 racks, both trying to get that central position early on.
And Dimon is going to be loving every second of this fight. I think triple racks coming out from Dimon. Going to make sure that conscript spam is coming out in force. Since the conscripts Molotov cocktails allow them to clear the garrisonable structures from the outside, that will enable them to be much more cost effective against these peacekeepers, since the peacekeepers, you have to sacrifice the PK to de-garrison the structure. It's a 1-for-1 trade, whereas the conscripts, they can just clear out the structure without having to kill themselves. So much more favorable in the way of the Soviet player.
Yes, and at the moment it looks like Viper has he hasn't really been building that many peacekeepers. He's stopped his production now, and he hasn't kept it up, which will mean that Dimon definitely 100% will take the center of the map. And to be honest, he's probably just going to continue pushing through. We might even see something like, I don't think we will, but we might see something like a War Factory come down and see him go for an all-in. But I think the most likely thing here is just the same, expand on low power after this.
Yes, I think that stream of yellow on the minimap tells all the tale we'll ever need to know. Does sell off one of the racks, keeps 2 of them around, but with that many conscripts, if they all bulk up and group up, Viper's going to be in a lot of trouble very quickly.
So Viper's he's actually decided to continue, restart the infantry production, so he's way behind on his unit count. But now he's actually decided to sell off and go for the airfield without a turret or anything placed down. I'm not really sure what his plan is here, because in his previous game, his split bombing Michael wasn't the best. Oh, and loads of bears coming. Will they get the rolls off? If they do, this is going to be the entire army. I bet they do. Oh my God.
That is rest in pieces. All of those peacekeepers attacking into a concave. It's such a fantastic concave from Dimon. Had a huge bunch of conscripts there on the ramp. The warbears to get the roars off, and garrisonable structures taken on each side. That engagement could not have gone any better for Dimon, and he will be loving that kind of trade all day long, as now he is going to move into position to threaten the internal structures of Viper.
Yeah, so now Viper has a huge army of conscripts he has to deal with, but this isn't the only problem. On the back of this, Demon's transitioned and he's now going into an airfield. So if he just concentrates on bombing all these conscripts, he's not going to be able to get the necessary anti-air that he needs up to actually deal with the aircraft. So he's going to have a real problem ahead. And it looks like the first collector is actually going to go down. First collector has fallen, and this is looking very dire for Viper at the moment. I don't know what he's going to be able to do to get back into this game, but we're going to have to watch and wait and see.
You know you've got a problem when a horde of conscripts focuses down your only means of really stopping them with AK-47s.
And he's not producing anything from his MTV either. He could be potentially going for the crushes this time. The only thing he's producing is, I'm assuming, a Vindicator, but he's not even using his first Vindicator to go for the bomb.
No, that was a cryocopter. He had heightened clearance on his con yard, and that was it got canceled in the airfield just before it could finish. That he was trying to go for a cryocopter, but honestly, at that point in the game, a cryocopter, that's too late for a cryocopter. If a cryocopter had come out earlier, or I realize it would have been very difficult to get one out earlier than that, but for it to really be effective, that horde of conscripts would have needed to have been stalled there in the center of the map, and then have the cryocopter engage with the Vindicator there to sort of kind of thin their numbers and slow them down before they actually get to the base.
Yeah, and as soon as the MiGs got in, I think he knew it was game over, and he just had to tap out. So game number 3 goes to Dimon as well. So gonna have a quick look at the summary here. What do you think? What do you think of that game?
That was a lot of conscripts, and that just Dimon used that opportunity to show you exactly why conscripts are not, in fact, useless.
Definitely not. Conscripts have never been useless. They're very powerful units. En masse, they can do devastating amounts of damage. As you've seen there, they can just target down a structure in no time whatsoever if they get in position in time. And unfortunately, Viper just didn't have the appropriate counter. He just didn't have. I think he just panicked and didn't quite know what to do against the 3 racks build. So instead, he just ended up being a little bit hesitant with his peacekeeper production, starting again, and eventually he just cracked. Didn't have anything to stop the army.
Oh yes, I feel like conscripts are really one of those critical mass centric units that if you're below that critical mass, they won't be all too effective, but if you reach that critical mass or get above it, suddenly it's just exponentially, like they go from 0 to 100, like boom, they are suddenly the most destructive force on the map.
Yeah, you have to be very careful when conscripts are on the field. Some reptiles would probably be the better way to go there, but unfortunately he didn't decide to go for that, and that will be it for this game. Let's jump into game number 4.
which brings us to the map Snowplow, spawning on the top side as the blue allies player. This is Viper.
And on the bottom of the map, we have the yellow Soviet player. It is Dimon. So Dimon currently up 3-0. He's on match point. If he wins this game, he wins the tournament. But Viper, on the other hand, he's got a hard road ahead of him if he wants to come back and win this tournament. But once again, Dimon starting off with a very heavy infantry aggression. He's going for a 2 barracks this time, so not overly aggressive. Oh, actually, hold up though. He's actually building a late third power plant here. Sorry, late third barracks. So he will be going for the mass infantry here.
Oh boy.
Very, very powerful through the center.
Especially on a map like Snowplow, mass infantry on this map, combo that with a well-timed base push, and suddenly you have an incredibly powerful force. We had a little peculiar placement of a barracks. Is that an engineer? Hello. Viper is going to try and go snag Dimon's oil derrick over on the left side of the map.
Oh, I don't know if I agree about that. He doesn't have that many peacekeepers.
Oh, that's not going to work. Yeah, that engineer turns tail and he runs. Oh, he knows he messed up.
Yeah, if you want to take that, you need a big escort, and generally you would want to go across the top path and go across the bridge. But actually, a huge amount of conscripts are out now, and eventually Demon's decided to push forward, taking out one of the garrisons, and now he's going to push in even further. What is Viper's counter going to be? Currently, I'm hoping that it's going to be a naval yard because he really desperately needs one at this point. What's it going to be? He's got a building queued.
I would not be shocked if this was a refinery, given
it is a naval yard.
Okay.
But he's not placing it down. He's very slow in his building production here.
You need to place down your naval yard.
Place it down.
It doesn't do you any good sitting in the build queue.
There it is. Finally, the naval yard comes down, so he will be able to produce some riptides. But on the back of this, all but one of the barracks have been sold off. And it looks like, most likely, Demon's going to be transitioning into something else. So dogs are trying to get in and get the good barks off, but there's nothing to back them up. Nothing to actually get the kills after the bark has actually happened. So one Riptide is out, and still only on 2 refineries. He's a little bit slow on his production here.
He's actually not on 2 ref. He never got his second ref.
And actually, a war factory is coming out now, so this is going to be a very powerful all-in from the start coming out of Demon here. 3 barracks infantry production into a war factory, so that's going to be a terror drone coming out after that to try and get the stun, to try and focus down all of these Riptides very early on. This is going to be extremely difficult for Viper to stop. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it.
Viper does plop that engineer that he had that turned tail and ran at the beginning of the game into that Riptide ACV. Going to go steal away Dimon's oil derrick from him. Not entirely sure if that'll be enough to make up the eco deficit that he's currently sitting at with only having 1 refinery. And already sold off the seaport too.
Codon comes in, gets a huge damage off on that first Riptide. Dog comes out with the Riptide trying to get the bark off. Does manage to get it, but at what cost? Both Riptides go down, but do get a huge roar off. But there's nothing to back it up yet again. Peacekeepers fall, and now there's a huge army going right for the heart of his base, and I'm not sure if there's anything that you can do to deal with it. 3 Peacekeepers are in the main base of Demon, trying to get a little bit of damage done, but instantly get crushed, and that is that. No more damage getting done over there, and now all of a sudden, Viper's in some real trouble.
I think this is about to be the fastest GG, or one of the fastest GGs I've ever seen on a game of Red Alert 3. I quite honestly think this is. There's no turret queued, the seaport would have really come in handy, but he waited so long on getting that second ref. He's sitting at such an eco deficit that I can't imagine he had very much money to do much of anything.
No, MCV's fallen. MCV goes down. Airfield slowly will go down very quickly after this. There it is. Airfield gets sold off. This will be it. Demon will be the For the Win 39 champion with a 4-0 victory over Viper.
Unless there's a miracle engineer inside of that Riptide in his base, which no, the Riptide did just die. So, with that death, Viper will be tapping out. Congratulations to Dimon for claiming the victory crown in For the Win 39.
Yes, well done indeed. That was a very well-deserved victory, and it seemed like Viper was he just wasn't quite calm and collected enough to deal with Demon's aggression in any of these games. Unfortunately, he didn't manage to take any of them.
Indeed, Dimon is a very aggressive player. One thing I've noticed that stands out about him very, very well. And if you do not respect that aggression, then you will be punished by that aggression time and time again.
That's definitely true, that. Demon definitely one of the best players at the moment. Definitely a force to be reckoned with. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Take it easy, and I'll see you in the next one.
So okay, I can confess these now and start sending it over, but I feel like it might end up coming through at like midday tomorrow. When people say, "Why do you build conscripts?" I'm like, because they're good. But if a peacekeeper is on shield mode, a vindicator can kill it in one bomb. It's not. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, you're like, oh, that's why it's happened. That's why.
Oh, you gotta love Red Alert 3 logic.
Yeah, this is one of the random
When he's
features
holding
that-
a shotgun, it takes 2 bombs from a bomber to kill him, but when he's holding a shield, it takes 1 bomb.
Yep, Red Alert 3 logic makes perfect sense.
Oh, I love Red Alert 3.
Yeah, it's just one of the strange things I've noticed. I find a lot of random bugs on this game. I found a lot when I played Xbox, to be honest.
Oh, hell yeah. That stuff. Xbox, I had some fond memories of Red Alert 3 on Xbox. There was one game. I was just derping around with my friends. Like, it's in a 4-player game on, like, Cold Showdown, I think. And it's one of our buddies. We just kind of left him alone, right? Like the 4th guy, we just, like, there was, like, 2 of us were, like, really good in the game. It was me and the guy that was diagonal from me. And the other 2 were kind of average Joes, right? Well, one of the average Joes, we, like, spanked him right out immediately. And then me and the other guy, the other guy that's really good, we started going at it with each other. He was Allies, I was Empire. We were just, like, duking it out, ham over fisting it with each other. Well, we've got each other almost dead each. And then the other average Joe rolls out with 40 Kirovs. So, where do you want to start? Like, resources or summary? Or
Well, I think we pretty much covered it. I think we pretty much covered it. When we started talking about it, I thought you'd already started.
I started recording like halfway through.
Oh, okay. The game.
All right, hold on. I got this right. I'm gonna go total. I'm gonna go total try hard caster. Okay. Whoop, lost my audio.
There you go. Let's just calm down. Okay, let's do this. 3, 2, 1.
I'm totally putting that in there, by the way. That's totally gonna go in the cast.
What? So
This our little banter, like game number 2. Yeah, game number 2.
it's the long pause. And all of a sudden- it's like there's bronze, there's silver, gold, platinum, diamonds, masters, grandmaster, and then pulled.
You never know. Maybe I'll make like a blooper reel or something from us.